everybody, Kanisha the creator here, and today I'm here to give you my review on a Nagi-asu, a lull in the sea. I just called it a lull in the sea. Anyway, a lull in the sea is about these four characters. Hold on, give me a second. I'm looking at this annoying pop-ups. So anyway, where was I? A Lull in the Sea is about four middle schoolers. Hikari, Kaname, Monica, and Chisaki. I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed it. I don't know how I said the old ways. So, Chisaki. Anyway. The four of them were born in the sea. But they're not mermaids. They are still human. They're not mer people. They're not mer people. They're actually just regular people. Just the legs, the arms, everything. The only difference is they have enna, which is like scales that help them breathe underwater. Now let's see. These four are childhood friends. They grew up together in the sea world, which looks just like a regular surface world that we live in. Except there are fish swimming around, and there's man rays, and there's all kinds of things. It's all underwater. That's pretty much how it goes. Anyway. At first, they were just having their happy lives in the sea world. But unfortunately, because there are so less sea people, the four sea kids had to go to the middle school up in the surface world. For the life of me, I cannot remember what the name of the school is. I think they mentioned it a bunch of times, but I never really cared to actually remember, so sorry if y'all want to know about it. But anyway, at first, three of them seemed calm with the whole going to surface school. But one of them is not, Hikari. See, Hikari has a strong dislike for surface people. He just straight up hates them. At first. But then slowly he starts to see one of his friends, Monica, getting close with this other surface person named Suzumi. Sumaki. Sorry. I'm trying my best. Sumaki. I got it. Whew, thank goodness. I thought I would never get a Sumaki. If I said that wrong, I'm just going to call him Kihara. I still remember that, even though they only referred to that only in a few episodes. But I'm just going to call him Kihara. Anyway, until one of his friends, Monica, gets close to Kihara, a regular surface person whose grandpa is a fisher and used to live underwater. And see. Anyway, where was I again? Oh yeah, right. So anyway. Kihara, unfortunately, has even more of a hard time dealing with the surface world because he hasn't revealed yet to his best friend Monica that he actually is in love with her. He just acts like, that typical guy who is always So it's just like, hurry up. Why are you always the last one here? Or just person in general. He doesn't really act like a tsundere. I would definitely not say that. If anything, he's just a regular guy who can be really annoying because he just lets his emotions get the better of him. Which I swear drove me crazy throughout the series. I was like, Hikari, if you don't calm the freak down, you're going to drive her away as a friend. If you don't, I do not know how Monica tolerated this guy. Always just being like, I got to try my best not to make this guy angry. And I was like, girl, seriously, just let him be angry. This guy is a child. A straight up child. He is stuck in elementary state. It was just pathetic. Just pathetic. Monica, she is so adorable. This girl is so sweet. Like, she is a ball of energy. A ball of energy. But I swear, this show tricked me so hard. Because here's the thing. I'm going to tell you who everybody is in love with. Hikari is in love with Monica. Monica is actually in love with Hikari, but the problem was, we didn't figure that out in the beginning. Some of y'all probably did, but I didn't figure that out. I thought, actually, at first I did think they were going to go that stereotypical, the two main guy and girl will fall in love with each other. I did think that at first, but then they introduced the surface guy Kihara, and then I thought that Kihara and Monica were going to fall in love. The show freaking did a 180 on me and revealed that Monica actually was in love with Hikari. And I was like, screw you, show, what? How dare you trick me? And then they wait till like episode freaking 25 to show us this. Episode freaking 25. Do you know how many episodes this thing has? 26. 26. It waits till the last episode to freaking show us she was in love with him. And do you know why? It was because they went with the stereotype, oh, she lost all her memory trope. I hate that trope so much. Sometimes it can be a little clever. Sometimes it can be clever. But in here, no, they just did that just because of shock value. Shock value. That's all they did. I am glad because for a moment there, during the episodes when they brought Monica back after the time jump, I thought that they were going to kill her. I'm sorry, I'm going out of order. Let me start from the beginning. Okay. So Kihari, Kaname, Monica, and Chisaki, all of them go to the surface school. It seems all normal, except a few people are picking on them. These boys named Sayama and Eduwa. I never figured out how to say his name. Eguwa? I think it's Eguwa. Something like that. No, Eduwa. It has to be. It's kind of spelled like edge. So I'll just say Edgewa. Anyway, it seemed like a pretty much normal slice of life story. Wrong! Because we figure out soon in the series that Hikari's sister Akari is in love with a surface person. Shocking. I know. I bet y'all like, Ganesh, yeah, I thought you were talking about the main characters. I am. Let me tell you one thing about the show. It shows Hikari's... Anyway, like I said, at first it's just a regular slice of life story. And then they introduce a major plot. See, when a sea person and a surface person fall in love, the sea person is banished from the sea village, which is where all the sea people live. And at first, most people think, like kids think that was a legend. But it turns to be really true. And they figure that out once Akari starts dating the surface person. And this surface person is Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I think I remember his name. What was his name? I don't remember his name. I'm not looking it up either. Anyway, he was this guy who was the father of this little girl named Mina, who is with this girl named Sayu, who is always picking on Hikari, and Hikari didn't figure out until he figured out who his sister when he figures out that his sister was dating a surface person. And at first the sea people were about to kick Akuya out, but then Hikari and Akuya's dad is actually the chief priest of the sea village. So yeah, he's the big head there. So he said, so he tells Akuya, you will have to break up with the boy. And I was like, please let it be kind of like, a forbidden lover story. And please don't actually make her break up with him. And at first they were going to have that stereotypical thing where they break up. But in the end, they didn't. But in the end, Akari decided to leave the sea village, and she decided to leave the sea village, and now she's married to that guy. And now Mina is Akari's her daughter now. And it became kind of close. Let me warn you that I swear, if y'all watch this, y'all might get as infuriated as I got. Because let me tell you, this thing is all over the place. All over the place. Like, one, there's a sea god in here, but this sea god is only the scale of the sea god, so he doesn't have just as much power as a regular sea god, which he makes abundantly clear. And he's kind of a pervert. So, yeah. That guy, I don't know how to feel about that guy. That guy was kind of annoying. He was kind of annoying. Especially when he tried to stop Akari and Hikari from leaving the sea village. Hikari eventually went back to the sea village. He didn't stay living on land permanently. Now, anyway, remember how I mentioned that all these characters fell in love with each other? Well, you see, Chisaki is in love with Hikari, and Kaname is in love. Yeah, Kaname is in love with Chisaki. Yeah. It's a crazy love. It's a crazy love, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you want to call that thing. That thing is crazy. It's crazy. All this is crazy. And then with all this sea lore, like, I feel like it should have had a second season. Like, I feel like one season should have been learning the difference between the surface world and the sea world, and then the second season should have just been just the sea world. No, just a time jump. Got me? Sorry, guys. I'm back. Anyway, so where was I again? Oh yeah, at first, like I said, with the sea lore and the surface stuff, it just intertwines too much, and like some of it gets confusing until you really have to think it through. You have to really, really think these things through and then understand everything that's happening. Let me tell you a few nitpicks I had this. The timing on some of these moments, I was like, really? Like the timing is bad on some of these things. It's not like it takes too long, because I feel like the pacing is fine, but sometimes certain moments happen at the wrong time, and you're like, I did not expect that to happen. Did you really have to say that? Way to bring down the entire house. And like, I swear, the number one nitpick, and this is just personal nitpick, I hate how this thing did that stupid fake out where I thought my characters were going to be gone because we don't know what happens after hibernation, if they really are going to wake up or not. I hated that part of it. I really hated that. And I was straight up crying because I didn't know if Monica, Kaname, Hikari, any of them were going to come back. The only one I knew was okay was Chiaki, because somehow she was saved from the water catastrophe. Man, that was ridiculous. And like that whole Monica like losing her memory and like losing her ability to feel just because of the stupid sea god being petty as heck. Like what the freak? Man, I am annoyed. Way too annoyed. And I'm glad that Akari and that man, they had a child together named Akira. Tell me, Akira is a really strange little boy. This guy is a really strange little boy. I'm just wondering. They seem like good parents. How the heck did Akira end up that way? I don't know. Whatever. He's a cute boy. And let me tell you, I hated that thing with Miuna being in love with Hikari because Hikari, by this point of the story, is Miuna's step uncle. And let me tell you, that is ill incest, ill gross. I hate that. I hate it. It's just gross. Gross. And at first they were going to do a story of like, she'll just keep her feelings bottled up. She won't actually tell him. And I was like, okay, I can deal with it. But then at first they tried to make it like, no, actually she will confess her feelings. But then they just black out again. Make up your mind, Joe. Either she's going to confess her feelings or she's not going to confess her feelings. What's going to happen? And in the end, her feelings just get spatted out because of... I'm not going to spoil too much because I actually want y'all to go watch the show so y'all can suffer the same pain I did. Sorry. I'm sorry. This show really was bugging me. Woo! Let me just tell you what happens let me just tell you all the things that really infuriated me. I've already almost finished. In the end, they did a 180, and I almost didn't expect this, where Chiaki and Kihara actually had feelings for each other. Let me tell you one thing about this show that really infuriates me, and yes, there is more. I hate that there was not one kiss with the characters you want to get together. Like Kihara and Chiaki, no kiss. Kihari and Monica, no kiss. Nobody gets a kiss. You don't get a kiss. You don't get a kiss. The only one that gets a kiss is the people who got married, because they are still middle schoolers. Get that trash out of here. Like, I've seen so many freaking stories that take place in freaking middle school, and at least they have one scene where the characters kiss. Even if they don't even actually admit they are in love with each other, we get at least one kiss scene. I didn't get one kiss scene with the characters I wanted to have a kiss scene with. I am so infuriated. I'm sorry. I gotta calm down. Woo! And then there was a whole plot with the hibernation thing. I thought something terrible was gonna happen to the surface world, and we never really figured it out. Apparently, it's not happening anymore. Cause the flakes, there's like these like fish flakes like that look like snow that are shown underwater, and they started rising up to the surface, and that meant that the end time was coming near. But now it's gone, so it's not happening anymore. Oh, and I also have to explain the 5-year time gap. Let me give you a minute. Before, in between where the 5-year time gap is about to happen, they introduced this thing called hibernation. The sea god fell in love with this human a long time ago, and that made the sea god give the humans that need to be saved at that time the ability to swim underwater, which created Edna, which is what they have that's kind of like scales. And anyway, And then, wait, what was that again? Oh yeah, and then, at first, they almost made it seem like the hibernation stuff wasn't gonna happen. Well, for the kids anyway, because the adults, everybody else, they were all falling asleep. All of them were falling asleep for the sea in the sea village. You could see it progressing. Let me tell you what I like about this is the feeling of youth in this story. Like the fact that these characters at first just seem like normal characters that don't really want to grow up. Well, mostly Hikari, Monica, and Chisaki. Kaname is just going with the flow. Kaname is just going with the flow. This guy is almost a blank slate, just going with the flow. But during the hibernation, he comes to Chiaski's house and is like, I can't be quiet any longer. I like you. See, during the hibernation arc, yeah, I'm calling it a freaking arc, even though it ain't that long. During the hibernation arc, each one of the characters tells the other that they love each other. Except, that they love that one person. Except Monica. Hiraki, being forced into a corner, admits to Monica that he loves her. Kaname admits that he loves Chiaski, and Chiaski admits to Hikari that she loves him. And it just all goes in a circle. It goes crazy. It went too crazy. It went too crazy. This thing is crazy. It went way too crazy, I swear. This show was driving me crazy. And what do I have to give it? An 8 out of 10. I still enjoyed it, but this show got me on a roller coaster. And like that stupid sea god, he is petty as heck. Either you do know what love is or don't know what love is. If you did know what love is, you wouldn't have taken away that human girl's memory that long ago. And then freaking taking Monica and Miyana as sacrifices, and then trying to cause all kinds of havoc. Like, this show was ridiculous. Anyway, this show was too crazy for me. And then we get to the 5-year time jump. See, Kaname, Hikari, Monica all went into hibernation underwater. I don't know if they ended back in the sea village. No, actually Monica didn't, because she ended up in this creepy freaking graveyard with all these dolls that they always use as sacrifices for a special festival to celebrate the sea god. And let me tell you, it gets creepy. Like, I was so uncomfortable looking at all this junk. Very uncomfortable. I am so glad when all that junk burned. All this junk burned. And you want to know why all this chaos happened? It's because the sea god never realized that the human actually was in love with him, not the dang other human from the surface world. He didn't realize that. He is so stupid. He didn't realize that. And that's the reason why all sea people and surface people can't date thing. That's why it's a rule. That's why that never happened. Because the sea god is petty and didn't even realize who the heck the human was in love with in the first place. Like, what? Anyway, the time-year gap. Chiaski, unfortunately, unlike the other three, has grown up with the rest of the surface people. Most importantly, Kihara. She has been living with Kihara for 5 years. Like I said, 5-year time jump. She's been living with him for 5 years, and has slowly developed feelings for him, even though she wants to deny it because she wanted to save her feelings for Hikari so nothing would ever change. Like I said, her and Hikari and Monica don't want things to change. They want everything in their friend group to be the same, but it'll never be the same. That's just a thing. You know it'll never be the same. Even if you're not in love with somebody in your friend group, you know y'all relationships will never be the same as y'all grow up. Everybody knows it. Don't worry, this thing does have a happy ending. I'm just sorry. I have so much frustration right now. Anyway, yeah, so the time jump. Kihara now is a professor and is working with this other professor to examine the sea village. And once Hikari comes back, they are just doing more and more research on everything that's happening in the hibernation and everything. Ooh, my stomach. Way too much. Sorry, I'm using up way too much energy and I'm not feeling 100% well, so yeah. Anyway. Last thing I want to mention. No, actually, I have a lot to more mention in 5-year time jump. Yeah. Like I said, Akira was the son of Akira was the son of Akira. Yeah, Akira is born. Where was I again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm almost done. The friends that they made in the surface world are all grown up now. They're off doing their own things. The only one we really see is Sayama, who was one of the bullies at first, but then became best friends with the group, and he works he works at a grocery store. So yeah. So yeah, everything is pretty much normal. Everything is calm. The school is still okay. Miyana and Sayu are right now. They are middle schoolers in the 5-year time jump. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Sayu actually has a crush on Kaname. And let me tell you that I wasn't sure how to feel about that because at first, to them, they were just kids, and now. Oh, let me tell you, the 5-year time jump, let me tell you about that. See, while Monica, Hikari, and Kaname were in hibernation, unfortunately, they didn't age. So while Chiyosuke and the rest of the surface people have grown up, they haven't aged. They are exactly the same age they were before the hibernation. They're still middle schoolers. So Sayu almost falls. So Sayu wants to admits her feelings to Kaname, and Kaname breaks down because, you see, he realizes that Chiyosuke is in love with Kihara. And because he realizes that, he starts to feel a little lonely because everybody has somebody, and he has almost pretty much, and he feels he has nobody. So he feels happy that Sayu actually likes him. And since technically Sayu and Kaname are the same age, they might do like a kind of, maybe I'll start to. He says he might start seeing Sayu actually as a woman now, so maybe there might be a love story, but there never was a season 2, so we'll never find out. So wait, at least I don't think there's a season 2. There better not be. Let me look it up. I'm sorry. I never. Nope, there's only one season. Thank you. Anyway, there's only one season. That's everything. So anyway, we are done. So anyway. everybody ends up with their own significant other. Except for Mia, because, Mia was in love with her step-uncle, technically, so, yeah, she doesn't get anybody. There are each cute moments at the end of episode 26, which I am happy about. Everything is going well. Nothing really big. Monica gets her memory back and everything, so, yeah, everything goes well. And I gotta be honest with you, this story, even though it made me feel a lot of emotions that I didn't want to feel, it still was good. Like I said, 8 out of 10. I would definitely recommend to anybody who has seen this show on Netflix and hasn't given it a try because they don't know. Trust me, as a girl who has been wrecked but put back together by this show, there are some funny moments. There are some moments that will make you cry, and there are just some moments where you're just like, yep, I'm good. It's a roller coaster, but I loved every moment of it. So, bye, everybody. Oh, yeah, and I just finished it today, so if y'all are wondering. Bye. Kanisha, the creator, signing out.